this is the amount of documents that I had to print out and bring with me, guys.
With a smile on your face and gratitude in your heart. That's who you are. That's who you are.
So all my documents, the amount of documents that I traveled with, obviously I'm not going to have them with me now, because why would I travel around with documents in my hand? You know, but it's enough to go. There is nothing wrong with printing too many documents. Too many documents enables entry into the country. Not enough documents could mean things they are changing. So my video you're about to watch was my story of when I did a 14-day Shah Plus hotel quarantine. It's now been reduced to 7 days, but from November the 1st to the 31st of December, there is a 2-month trial period. So whilst things are changing, guys, with regards to the certificate of entry changing, the quarantine period possibly going away, possibly. Things are looking to change from November the 1st, but remember, nothing is approved until it's officially confirmed in the Royal Gazette, so do keep your eyes open. All the other documentation, as being stated in my video, stay tuned, is all relevant. Hey guys, what is up? Phuketsandbox scheme, the 2 questions on everybody's mind. Thank you. What exactly does the process entail? And how much did it all cost? Woohoo! Thailand, let's do this. Well, I can tell you it's been the most expensive travel to date, and the total cost is... The total cost is gonna be revealed at the end of the video, guys, so keep watching, as attention to detail is a must, and I have lots of important information to give you, because this process to some might be overwhelming and stressful regarding timescales, and like the saying suggests, if you fail to prepare, you might have to prepare yourself for failure. Well, not on my watch. PMA, guys, and hopefully this video will simplify matters for you. Now let's get into it.
Holidays are brilliant, aren't they? The last 2 weeks. 2 weeks! Or 1 if you want. Or if you got time, a month. And you go on a plane. Planes are brilliant, aren't they?
Yes, my friend. Planes are indeed brilliant, but in order to get on this plane and get to Thailand, well, you need to be aware of these things that you need to make happen. When you've got your visa, you can then apply for the certificate of entry. You need to have 2 COVID vaccinations, at least 14 days prior to travel, an RT-PCR test 72 hours before travel, COVID insurance which covers you for at least $100,000, your flight tickets, your hotel booking for the Shah Plus accommodation, and your 3 PCR tests and payment proof. Finally, your T8. Stay tuned as we get through the list of requirements here, guys, and I will also show you as we descend into Phuket Airport what you can expect as you arrive, what documentation you need to have to hand, what apps you need to have downloaded on your phone. Guys, nearly 90% of you who watch my content, you aren't subscribed. So to help you out, I paused the video. All you have to do is press that button.
It's free!
Nice.
Come on, do it. Do it!
Let's do it.
Stop cheering me up!
You won't stop.
Okay, now let's see if we can get through this quickly as possible, guys, and stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to give you a breakdown of how much everything cost individually and how much it did total up to, and boy did it total up. So firstly, yes, it's called an e-visa, but you do have to apply online and then send your passport with the photographs in the post in order to receive your passport back. So don't let that fool you. But once you've got your passport, then you're onto the certificate of entry. You're also applying for online. It's a straightforward process. If you really want to complicate matters and take your stress levels through the roof, you can attempt to apply in Chinese, but I wouldn't recommend it. And go through the process. It's very self-explanatory. There's a cheeky little video there to give you advice on what you need to do. You need to submit everything that we've already gone through in the list. At the end of it, you'll obtain a 6-digit code. You can go back onto the website at any time to check the progress to see where you're at. And then when you receive the certificate of entry, it should look like this. So next on the list, guys, you need to supply your vaccination proof, which is 2 in order to fly. And they must be at least 14 days prior to flying. Do be aware that when you download your proof of vaccination, the QR codes only last for 30 days. So bear that in mind. If you're looking to travel on somewhere where you need to supply this document, you'll need to go online to refresh. The last thing you want to do is get to the airport and get refused because you printed the document over 30 days ago. So that was me getting number 2 done, guys, which enables me to travel. So if you're watching this, then I managed to get across to Thailand. Now guys, onto that PCR test. Remember, it has to be an RT PCR test, not a standard PCR test. It's very important because a lot of people get refused entry if it's not an RT test. So just to confirm, this is an RT PCR test, yeah?
Yes. What's the RT? Do you know what the RT is?
It's reverse something. It's like an additional process when they're actually checking the specimen. This must be done 72 hours prior to flying.
What should I do?
Okay. So it's already set up. Just point and I'll forego the smile.
So you just need to swab at the back of the throat, so each side of the tonsils, for about 10 seconds. Try not to touch your tongue. And then after that, with the same swab, it's just up the nose for about the same amount of time, just twist.
And do check online, because there are discussions with Thai authorities that they're going to scrap this moving forward, which is a big advantage because this costs £150. Moving forward, they might accept a rapid antigen test. And if you're living in England, it's all about that tickle. Those tests are free, so that's a big saving there. Also, be very aware of a lot of charlatans online, and as I trawled through forums, there are a lot of people saying that they've been left high and dry by companies, specifically stating they would send you the test through the post, you'd then return it to them, and they're guaranteed to get you the results within a 72-hour period. But a lot of these companies did fall short, so myself, I went in person to a clinic and I got the result the very next day.
You'll get the results back Friday by midday.
Fantastic. It's all about that tickle. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I was expecting something far more in depth. It was nice.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You do. See you later.
Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
So that, guys, that is the RT-PCR test, and has to be done 72 hours prior to flying. And today is Wednesday. The way that they look at it is today is Wednesday, so I'll get the result on a Friday. But from my perspective, it's 72 hours, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday I fly. And as you know, if you're watching this, then I've already flown. So it's a lot of time scales to consider, but fantastic. So as we're getting through this list of requirements, guys, this was me departing at 3 AM on a bus after 2 hours sleep with my happy face, but really I felt like this because I knew where I was going. And continuing with the list, onto the COVID insurance, which needs to show coverage. Boom. My favourite car, a green Mustang. You don't see that very... Oh, and another one, a red Mustang. What are the chances of that? Red and green can never be seen, they say. I beg to differ.
We're now approaching Heathrow Central.
Onto the COVID insurance, which needs to show coverage of a minimum $100,000. I went with AXA Thailand as it seemed to be a house favourite with a lot of other people. I was surprised by the sheer volume of people who were at the airport waiting to board plane. So although I've mentioned AXA, guys, it's obviously your choice as to which company you choose to go with. What I will say, and I don't want this to sound negative, is that I actually bought 2 insurance policies off them. One because my flight changed, which had a knock-on effect with the date of leaving. I had a little bit of back and forth with them, and I decided it would make more sense to buy a second policy so that it was emailed to me, printed, ready to go, and it was confirmed that I would get the other one refunded as long as it's put across to them prior to departure date. They have gone outside their time scale for the duration of when they're supposed to refund to me, and I'm now chasing them up every day, which I could do without the hassle, and I'm getting repeated pasted comments coming back to me. So might want to reconsider AXA possibly. Again, don't mean to be negative, but they fell a little bit short on this one and they dropped the ball. Big concrete balls, left a nasty mark on my toe. Ooh, one last thing to add with regards to your insurance, guys, is a number of people at London Airport were refused entry to board solely because the date of their insurance policy was their arrival date. So whilst they'd be covered for landing, they weren't covered to actually board the plane because their start date was the day after they were boarding. So because of that, they weren't allowed to board, and their whole trip fell apart because of it. So do bear that in mind. It felt very strange to be in an airport, and to be fair, it felt very strange to be around people in general. But boy, did it feel awesome to get back on a plane knowing that the destination was Phuket, Thailand. Of course, in order to get on any flight, you'll have to have a flight booking. So that's the next document that you'll require, guys. It needs to be a direct flight. You're not allowed to stop off in any country, and that's what unfortunately takes the price of the flight up quite substantially. I used to be able to travel to Thailand, get a one-way flight for around £300, give or take, depending on the time of year that you would travel. But this flight cost me £562 one way. But again, happy to be on this flight. It's been a while since I've been on a plane, guys. So you'll need to supply your SHA Plus accommodation Shabba certificate for the duration of your 7-day stay. I, at the time, also had to pay for my 3 PCR tests and print off that booking that came via the hotel. Now, you have to go onto the Thailand PSAS website and book the 3 PCR tests yourself and supply payments. Don't forget though, at the end, you'll need to download your receipt as proof of payment for these tests and print that off and supply it in order to board the plane. Okay, and tailing off the list there, guys, the last one there being the T8 form. I would download that, fill it in, take it with you to ensure that you've got all the necessary documentation needed. It's stated on the Thai Embassy website, guys, that you should have a printout of your bank statement, basically to show that you've got enough funds to sustain the duration of your visit whilst you're in Thailand. Now, this isn't mentioned on a lot of other sites, and whilst it wasn't requested as I was leaving London, it was requested as I landed into Phuket. So do yourself a favour, print it out, bring it with you. Into the flight, guys, got another 4 hours to go, so in UK time it'll be 12:30 30 minutes after midnight on the Saturday, and yeah, I've been awake for a long time, and in Phukets it'll be 6:30 AM on Sunday, and things are going really well. I'm really excited to get to Phuket. I can't believe I'm on a plane, to be honest. It's been quite some time. Just flew over New Delhi, which was kind of cool. If you've not seen any of my New Delhi videos, then what are you waiting for? Have a look, enjoy. I'll give you the time it takes to flush this toilet, guys, to make your decision. Oh, you've decided to watch? Well done! I respect your life choices, guys. So that's all the documentation covered in part 1. But what happens when you actually land into the airport? Well, stay tuned for part 2. I want to give you all the information, a literal walkthrough of what you can expect when you land in Phuket Airport. If anybody's interested in buying me a coffee, link in the description. And as always, guys, go travel, go laugh, and be inspiring.
With a smile on your face and gratitude in your heart. That's who you are.
If you've made it this far through my video, guys,
Come on, come on.
if you're watching my content and you enjoy it, please consider subscribing, hit the bell notification,
Do it.
and hit the like button, as it really helps out the algorithm.
Do it.
Above all, thanks for supporting my channel,
Come on, do it now.
and have the most fantastic day.